Hi everybody, welcome to the Rush Stage 4 review, 1989 to 1997. There are 4 Rush albums in Stage 4, in my opinion. We'll go over that in a minute. Presto from 1989, Roll the Bones from 91, Counterparts from 93, and Test for Echo in 96. Now, why does Stage 4 end here and not with Angels and Demons, which is the last Rush album in like 2013 or somewhere? Okay, it's because of Different Stages. Different Stages is the Rush album from 1997. And if you're following the same formula as the other 3 previous stages of Rush, they did 4 studio albums and then they do a live album. So for Stage 1, they did 4 albums, and then they did All the World's a Stage. Stage 2, they did 4 albums, and then they did Exit Stage Left. Stage 3, they did 4 albums, and then they did A Show of Hands. Okay, and like those stages are all different from each other. So Stage 4 is, it's like a transitional stage for Rush. Arrivederci to the synths and keyboards, which are really heavy in Stage 3. And they're not gone in Stage 4, but they've just been dramatically reduced, and Rush is back to a more hard rock, heavy metal style sound. And it's still pretty proggy, so we'll go over that. It makes sense that these 4 albums go together because the final 3 Rush albums, starting with Vapor Trails to the end, they sound different. Okay, you can hear a little bit in Stage 3, or excuse me, Stage 4, but that's a different topic for another day. Okay. Now, let's see. I like Stage 4 quite a bit. Better than Stage 1 or Stage 3 even. I like the stage for Rush. I like the maturity of the songs, the maturity of the band, their musicianship, and their leadership in the genre. The albums are all decent or even great, dare I say, and the songs are excellent at times. So let's get onto the rankings, all right? Here we go. Number 4 is Presto, 1989. Presto was produced by Rush and Rupert Hine. It's okay. There isn't a bad Rush album in the catalog, but this one is near the bottom because they're figuring out what they're going to do in this stage and what their next step is as a band. It's an upgrade over Hold Your Fire from 1987. And this doesn't have any of the schmupsy or schmaltzy, poppy, just overly drippy Mariah Carey type sound with the music. Now, what's not good about it is the production. It sounds like Geddy Lee, like he's sitting 10 feet behind the microphone, and that's probably my biggest issue with the album. The tracks are okay. The best tracks are Show Don't Tell, The Pass, Available Light, and to a lesser extent, Chain Lightning and Warpaint. Okay. Number 4, Presto. Number 3, Roll the Bones, 1991. This album's great, okay? Produced by Rush and Rupert Hine for a much more rock feel, even more so than Presto. Improved songwriting, it's proggy enough, it's got a pop rock prog feel to it, okay? And it's a pretty good concept album too. This whole idea of being lucky or taking chances or risk or, what. The best tracks are Dreamline, Roll the Bones, Where's My Thing, The Big Wheel, A Ghost of a Chance, and Neurotica. Okay? Roll the Bones, 1991. And you're probably wrong about how you feel about Roll the Bones. I'll just say it. Number 2 is Test for Echo, 1996. This is greater than Roll the Bones. Classic Rush-style prog rock, somewhere in the middle of Roll the Bones and Counterparts, even though it came after those albums. Produced by Peter Collins and Rush. So Peter Collins is back from Power Windows. Best tracks are Test for Echo, Driven, Totem, Virtuality, Limbo, Carve Away the Stone. Yeah. Underrated album, and at a weird time for Rush, but let's keep it number 2. I like it so much I found myself listening to it yesterday for no reason at all, just because I like it. Number 1 is Counterparts, 1993. This is the best of the bunch. It's produced by Peter Collins again and Rush. If it's okay, great, greater, this is greatest. This is a hard rock album. It's fairly proggy. It's proggy enough. It's definitely a big change up over Roll the Bones and Presto. The best tracks are Animate, Speed of Love, Stick It Out, Double Agent, Leave That Thing Alone, and Everyday Glory. Okay, so that's your 1 through 4. Now, Different Stages, 1997. Now, this comes, in the middle of Neil Peart's issues, and Geddy Lee and Alex worked on this. Geddy Lee's listed as the producer. It says produced by Geddy Lee and Paul Northfield. He's a longtime Rush engineer. This isn't an album review, but I'll just talk about what this is. You've got Dreamline, Limelight, Driven, Bravado, Animate, Show Don't Tell, The Trees, Nobody's Hero, Closer to the Heart, 2112. That's all disc 1. Disc 2, Test for Echo, Analog Kid, Free Will, Roll the Bones, Stick It Out, Resist, Leave That Thing Alone. The Rhythm Method, which is the stage 4 drum solo by Neil Peart. Natural Science, The Spirit of Radio, Tom Sawyer, and YYZ. These discs 1 and 2 are mainly culled from the Test for Echo tour, and then there's some stuff from Counterparts, and I think there's even some stuff from the Presto tour, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay, but most of it is coming from the Test for Echo tour, so it's pretty recent. Now it comes with this disc 3, which is if I were to summarize it, it's some content from a Farewell to Kings tour from 1978. And it's got Bastille Day, By-Tor and the Snow Dog, Xanadu, Farewell to Kings, Something for Nothing, Cygnus 1, Anthem, Working Man, Fly By Night, In the Mood, Cinderella Man. Okay. Now, if you look at you can look at this 2 ways. You can say, okay, Different Stages is 3 discs and it's all one thing, but that's not really what it is. What it is disc 1 and disc 2 go together, and then disc 3 is like a bonus disc. Okay, so if you look at it that way, so here's the breakdown. Disc 1 and disc 2, it's got 1 stage 1 song, 8 from stage 2, 1 from stage 3, and 11 from stage 4. And then it's got the Rhythm Method, which we're not going to count. Disc 3 has 7 songs from stage 1. And then it's got 4 from stage 2, which are all A Farewell to Kings. Okay, and if you pull them all together, then you've got 32 tracks. 8 from stage 1, 12 from stage 2, 1 from stage 3, and 11 from stage 4. So it becomes, if you consider all 3 of them, it becomes a much more, this is like a greatest hits live disc compilation for the first 4 stages of Rush. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Okay, so now the stage 1 track is 2112. And the stage 3 track is Analog Kid. The rest is all heavy stage 4, which is 11 tracks. And then stage 2, 8 tracks. Stage 2 is what I and many Rush fans would consider to be the classic Rush Supreme best era. Okay. Disc 3 is essentially your alternative to All the World Stage from 1976. The biggest difference is it's got the Farewell to Kings tour content, and it includes some of those early stage 3 tracks being recorded February 20th, 1978. I mean, if you look at it, I should have done this ahead of time, but Roll the Bones has, let's go one at a time. Presto has one track. Okay. Roll the Bones has 1, 2, 3 tracks. So 1 for Presto, 3 for Roll the Bones. Test for Echo has 1, 2, 3 tracks. And Counterparts has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for Counterparts. Okay, that makes sense because Counterparts is the best, and it has 4. and then Roll the Bones and Test for Echo has 3, and then Presto has 1. That makes sense. I'm down with that. So let's just recap real quick. For stage 4, my least favorite, Presto. Next, Roll the Bones, Test for Echo, and then finally Counterparts from 1993. I like this stage. I'm not a big Presto guy, but the other 3 albums I like quite a bit. Okay, so that's it. What next for the channel? Of course, I'll do the Rush Stage 4 album reviews. That'll take me a few weeks. It's gonna take longer because I'm gonna mix in some other bands. I'm not gonna get on this Rush only theme thread that I've been doing, and then after that I'll do the Stage 4 rankings. Eventually I'll make it to the big grand Rush finale rankings of all 19 albums. And that'll be fun. If you're playing along, maybe you've already tried to figure it out. Where does Coach Plow guy have all this stuff? It's pretty easy though. I mean, ranking these Rush albums by stages really helped me, and it's helped me sort out the top 19 in order. And I'm gonna do a coming up next soon, shortly. The Court of the Crimson King. I'll do that album review. And I'm thinking of doing the Piper at the Gates of Dawn. So that'll be coming up in the next 2 weeks, those 2, okay? I'll mix them in with the Rush ones. All right. Coach Plow guy out.